Hello everybody, welcome back to Making It Up. I'm Isa and today I will be recreating one of my best performing videos ever. Like 4 years ago I did a video on how to do your makeup for your ID pictures, so like passport, license, etc. And it was a hit. I couldn't find any videos online and I was getting my license, so I decided that I needed to just do a video myself. So I based all my tips on a Refinery29 article. You can go check out that video, go check out the article, but I took all the makeup tips, made them into a tutorial, and today I'm going to do an updated version of that. I've had horrendous ID pictures in the past. I still have a few that haunt me to this day, and trust me, these tips and tricks will help you look better. If that's what you're looking for, then please keep watching because I'm about to teach you everything you need to know to do your makeup and look your best in any ID picture that you ever take. Okay, so the first most important thing that you need to know is don't go full glam. Full glam is not for ID pictures because the lighting isn't the best and you obviously want to look like yourself, so don't go with a full red lip, don't do super extreme contouring. I recommend sticking to just enhancing your natural features and leaving all the glam for all the Insta pics and stuff. Whenever you go and take your ID pictures, I don't know if it's like this anywhere else in the world, but where I live, it's not great. Like the cameras aren't, beautiful cameras that'll capture you in the best way. The lighting isn't really that great. So ditch the colorful makeup, ditch the full coverage makeup because that's just gonna make you look extra cakey, and just go for something that evens you out. I'm gonna be starting with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Universal Blurring Balm Powder. You can use this on top of your makeup, under your makeup, and I just want to use this to like blur my pores before applying my base because this is gonna help my skin look a little smoother and even out any texture that I have that I don't want to, showcase in any picture ever. For my base, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop in number 5. This is great. It is more matte. I would suggest keeping things a little bit more matte. It's going to help you not look oily. So obviously, depending on your skin type, if you have drier skin, you can go with something a little more satin. And another tip that I would give you is try to avoid SPF in your base product. So if you're using a foundation or a skin tint or a CC BB cream, make sure it has no SPF because that can cause flashback and you can look like a ghost in your ID pictures and you obviously don't want that. For my under eyes, I do have pretty bad under eyes, so I want to do a little bit of color correcting before my concealer. I don't want to do a ton, so I'm just taking the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector and just grabbing the tiniest bit of this. You don't need a lot. And I'm just going to like brighten the inner corner and then I will do concealer on top. I don't want to do too much of this because again, I don't want it to be too bright in contrast with the rest of my skin. I don't think that would look too flattering, so I'm just gonna do a tiny bit where I need it most. And then for concealer, I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal. This photographs beautifully, but it's also very lightweight under your eyes and it is more satin. It isn't dewy, it isn't super matte, so it's not gonna look dry and cakey, and it's not gonna look oily under your eyes. So this is just like the perfect balance. You guys know this is my favorite concealer ever. So I'm just gonna do light layers. I'm keeping it super light, you guys, so that if I need to, I can build it up. And I'm not going for the fullest of coverage. I just want everything to look evened out and a little brighter. And now that all of that is done, setting is key, especially if you're oilier, have more normal skin. If you're drier and you don't feel the need to set, then, you don't have to. I would still recommend it, but you don't have to. This brings me to tip number 2, which is like skip the glow and the shimmer. So you usually look a little glowy as the day goes by, or if you apply a base that's a little bit more glowy or that has shimmer, I would not recommend doing that. And also, I would recommend to add powder to those areas that are glowy so that they can be mattified. You want it to be a little more flat. It isn't necessarily the most flattering thing you can do, but remember this is for the picture. So when you're a little bit oilier or you have glowy something on your face, then it can look oily on camera. Like, it can translate really oily and look really bad. So you want to add a little bit of powder. Today I'm using the Kosas Breezy Cloud Set. Mine has seen better days, but I love it because it isn't super heavy and cakey. I think it is the perfect powder for this, and I will be applying this mainly to my T-zone, but I will add it. Like, I'll add a little bit to the rest of the face, but I will be focusing on the T-zone because that's where I tend to get the oiliest. And I will obviously like hit the brows. Sometimes I forget to do that and the brows can look really shiny. I don't think that looks flattering. So let's just do all over. One thing I wouldn't recommend you do is going in with translucent powder. Sometimes a translucent powder can, again, give you that flashback that you don't want. So when people take a picture with flash, it flashes back, you look really, really pale and white. You don't want that. So stick to something that has a little bit of a tint, even something like this, which is very light, but it has a bit of a tint, because then you avoid, you know, having those ghostly moments. And also, like, following this tip, we're obviously not going to be doing any highlighter on the skin, any shimmer. It doesn't matter if it's like glow. You don't want to take any chances. Okay, today's not the day for the glow, my friends. My tip number 3 would be to stick to earth tones, so bronzes, peach, pink. Depending on your skin tone, this is gonna look a little different for you. On me, I do like warmer tones, so I won't be doing like mauves and pinks. I will be doing more like peachy shades, bronzer, that kind of thing. I would avoid going too taupey and gray because that can make you look dead. Again, these are not the best cameras and the best lighting situation for you to look good. So stick to more earthy tones, and that's what I'm gonna do right now for my face, because obviously we don't want to look flat. We do want to add a little bit of structure back, and I will be doing that with bronzer and blush. Also, I will be sticking to powder products because I just feel like they help me not look too glowy and dewy. Like, I do love that look, but for the sake of this look, we're not going to be looking glowy. So for my bronzer, I'm doing the Hoola by Benefit. Love this one. And I'm not going anywhere crazy with this. I'm just adding it wherever I do tend to add a bronzer. We're just adding extra structure to our face so that it doesn't look flat. And again, I'm keeping it lighter. I don't want to pile on the bronzer too much. Just want to add a little bit of color back into the skin. And then for blush, I'm using the Patrick Ta Do We Know Her Double Take Cream and Powder Blush. I never know the name of this. This is a cream and a powder. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little, like a tiny bit of the cream to make this a little more long lasting. So I'll do cream a little bit first, and then I'll go on top and set it with a powder. And again, just not going crazy with the blush, just applying a tiny bit where it looks best on my face. And then I'm gonna go with a powder on top to set that. That's just gonna make the blush last longer, because usually blush is the first thing that fades. So you wanna make it last a little longer, at least until you can take the picture. And this is also going to mattify the cream for the most part. So now that the face is done, we're going to be following the same blueprint for the eyes. So we're again going to keep it more natural. You don't want to do any shimmers on the eyes either. Just overall keep it matte. I'm just going to prime with my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm also going to be focusing on more peachier, brownier tones on the eyes. I'm going to be using the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I don't know if it's still available, but this has a ton of shimmers that are gorgeous. We're not going to touch those. We're going to stick to the mattes. So first, I'm using this one right here. This is EE1. And I'm just going to use it to set the primer that I put down. Then for my crease, I'm going to be using EE3, which is this one right here. It is just like a warm tone, soft brown. And I'm going to add it to the crease in the outer corner, just to add a bit of definition on the eyes. But nothing's going to get too crazy. And I kind of want to leave the lid bare, like just with the color that we set it with, to like open up the eyes and make them a little brighter. And then this like peachier color will just help me define my crease. I'm gonna do whatever's left on the brush underneath my lash line, lower lash line, just a little bit to make the look cohesive. And then that's it for eyeshadow. We're not doing anything crazier. You can obviously take more time and blend, but these shadows blend really easily, and we're not doing anything revolutionary, so I think this is good enough. My next tip that I didn't feature in my last video, but I think is very important, is to add a nude liner to your waterline. This is Colourpop Honeydude. It's really old. They have new packaging now, but this is the best one because it's not too yellow or pink. And this is just gonna help your eyes look brighter, shine a little bit more, so it's gonna enhance that. It helps your eyes look a little bit less irritated, less red, just overall more awake. And you can kind of see the difference with and without. I'll also be adding a little bit of a brown liner to my tight line to make the lashes look a little more dense without having to go too crazy. And I'll just do it in the outer corner to give me that like cat eye like lift without having to do anything. Because once you apply mascara, it's gonna look denser on the outer corner. For mascara, I think you can go however you want to with this. You can even do falsies if you feel like it. I just would recommend not going too crazy. Like, don't do super insane lashes that kind of weigh down your eyes. You can go whichever way you want. You can add a little bit of the drama, but I'm just gonna use a Maybelline Colossal Curl Bounce because this gives me the lift, the curl, and it separates my lashes really well. I just like how they look. And I'm not gonna go ham. I'm just gonna do more of a lighter, more natural coat, if you know what I mean. And I'm keeping the lower lashes bare because I just prefer the look. I feel like it looks a little cleaner, less heavy. But if you like a lower lash mascara, then go ahead. And that's about it for the eyes. Very awake, a little bit of color, but nothing too crazy. For the brows, I recommend you keep it just natural. Don't mess with your shape. Do your brows how you usually do them so you can feel comfortable and look how you usually look. So I'm just gonna fill them in slightly just to groom them a little and have them not be lost. But I'm not doing too much, and it's a little messy. And I'm also just gonna add a little bit of the e.l.f.Brow lift because it is so nice to just groom the brows without making them look crunchy or giving them that like white cast that some products can give you, especially if you have darker brows. So I would recommend steering clear of the things that give you dandruffy eyebrows and stick to something like this. It's just clear, it grooms, but it doesn't make them look bad. Another tip that I'm adding to the list of the ones that I already had before is go light on the lips. I'd recommend, sticking with the theme, keep it matte. Don't go super glossy or glowy. You can do a little more satin, like it doesn't have to be like super matte, but I would recommend keeping it natural. I wouldn't do anything too crazy. I'd keep it, more in the nude family. Depending on your skin tone, that's gonna look different for everyone. But first, liner. Liner is very important, especially if you have tiny lips like me. Defining them can help them, be a part of the face and not just be lost in your look. So I'm using the NYX lip liner in Nude Beige, I think. Yeah, this is my go-to. Now I'm overlining slightly just to even out because one side of my lips is bigger than the other. So I'm just adding a little bit of liner on those areas, but I don't want to do something. I don't want to change my lip shape completely. And to keep things more matte and more in the peachy family, which is what I've been doing elsewhere, I'm going to be adding the NARS Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balm in Intimate. This is my Perfect My Lips But Better shade, and it is matte yet comfortable. As you can see, it looks really soft. It isn't super pigmented, like it's a little more sheer, which is another thing that I recommend. Those will just photograph better and enhance as opposed to like add to your look and change how you look. But it does add a little bit of color. It does help the lips stand out a little more. It just goes with the rest of the look. So I really love this one. I use it all the time, and it is obviously the perfect combination for this specific look. And then one extra tip that I have for you, if you find yourself getting a little shiny, I left them over there, but blotting sheets are your best friend. If you do feel like you need a little bit more powder and it feels like it won't look cakey, like you didn't add enough, then go ahead and powder a little bit more. But if you feel like you've added enough, go for a blotting sheet. It's gonna help you remove excess oil, and it's gonna keep you from piling on more makeup and starting to look cakey. But yeah, that is basically the look. I'm a little bit enhanced, but I definitely look like myself. The peachy tones are cohesive. Everything is just working. I'm ready to slay my license photo once more. That is my updated ID picture tutorial. What do we think? I feel like if you saw the last one, it's very similar, but just a little more elevated and with a few more tips and tricks. And honestly, I've been using these tips for the last 4 years, and all my ID pics since starting to do this have gotten just so much better than they used to be. So if you were looking for something to help you feel more comfortable, more like yourself, and a little bit enhanced for your ID pictures, you need to try this tutorial. Feel free to use these tips and make the look your own. If you do a lot less makeup than I do, definitely stick to less makeup. If you're used to piling it on a little bit more and you want to do like a heavier foundation and things like that, just make it your own. You know what you like best, you know what you feel most comfortable with, but these are just tips that can help you look the best that you can possibly look under the circumstances. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you found what you were looking for, and I hope you slay every single one of your ID pics from now on. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you're into super easy and real makeup and beauty content. I hope to see you right here next week. I love you. Bye. Mwah.